vanishing at the edge of the world. Scotland, 1900. Far out in the North Atlantic, west of the Outer Hebrides, lies a small, jagged cluster of islands known as the Flannan Isles. They are uninhabited. No trees, no shelter, only rock, seabirds, and the constant pressure of wind and sea. At the turn of the 20th century, the Flannan Isles were considered one of the most desolate places in Britain. Yet they served a vital purpose. Ships passing through the Minch, the dangerous channel between mainland Scotland and the Hebrides, relied on a single lighthouse perched high on the largest island, Eileen Moor. 3 men were stationed there at any one time. 3 keepers, rotating shifts, cut off from the world for weeks, dependent entirely on routine, discipline, and trust. In December of 1900, something went catastrophically wrong. The keepers on duty that winter were experienced professionals. James Ducat was the principal keeper. In his 40s, methodical, respected, and known for strict adherence to procedure. Thomas Marshall was the assistant keeper. Younger, physically strong, and reliable, though occasionally noted as temperamental. Donald MacArthur was the relief keeper, a veteran seaman with a reputation for restlessness and sudden mood shifts, but also courage. These were not reckless men. They understood the dangers of the sea. They understood isolation. And they understood the importance of never abandoning the light. On the night of December 15th, 1900, passing ships noticed something troubling. The Flannan Isles light was dark. This was not unheard of during severe storms, but it was rare. Still, protocol demanded investigation. Yet, the weather was worsening. Relief vessels were delayed. Days passed. The light remained extinguished. By December 26th, concern had grown serious enough that the supply ship Hesperus was dispatched, despite rough seas. When the Hesperus finally reached the island, no one was waiting at the landing. This was unusual. Normally, at least one keeper would be present to assist with ropes and supplies. There was no signal, no movement. Joseph Moore, a relief keeper, volunteered to go ashore. As he climbed the steep path toward the lighthouse, he felt an overwhelming sense that something was wrong. The lighthouse door was closed, unlocked. Inside, silence. The interior told a disturbing story. The kitchen was tidy. A meal appeared to have been prepared and left untouched. Chairs were pushed back as if men had risen suddenly. Clocks had stopped. Oil lamps were cleaned and filled. The logbooks were present, but the keepers were gone. No bodies, no signs of struggle, only absence. The final log entries were unsettling. Earlier entries described violent storms, winds unlike any the keepers had previously experienced. One entry noted that Marshall had been crying. Another claimed MacArthur, a hardened sailor, was praying. This was extraordinary. The last entry, dated December 15th, read simply that the storm had passed, and then nothing. Searches of the island revealed damage. Railings near the western landing were torn from their concrete anchors. A supply box weighing over a ton had been displaced. Iron fittings were bent. The sea, it seemed, had reached higher than anyone believed possible. Yet, questions remained. Why would all three men leave the lighthouse at once? Why without coats and without lighting the lamp? The Northern Lighthouse Board concluded that the men had been swept away by a massive rogue wave. The theory suggested that two keepers went outside to secure equipment. The third followed. All were taken. It was plausible, but it relied on a single assumption: that all procedures were abandoned simultaneously. Standard lighthouse protocol was clear. At least one keeper must remain inside at all times, especially during storms. Yet the lighthouse was left unattended, the light unlit and doors unlocked, and the men vanished without trace. No bodies were ever recovered, not even fragments. Some suggested an argument. Others proposed a deliberate rescue attempt gone wrong. A few speculated darker ideas: madness, or even foul play. But there was no evidence, only conjecture. The island kept its silence. Life on Eileen Moor was psychologically demanding. Weeks of isolation, relentless noise, no escape from the elements. Even strong men could unravel. Yet none of the keepers had shown signs of instability before, and fear alone does not explain the evidence left behind. The mystery entered public imagination through poetry. Wilfred Wilson Gibson wrote Flannan Isle, portraying an eerie, empty lighthouse. The image endured. 3 men gone, leaving only wind and stone. Now the lighthouse is automated. No keepers remain. Visitors report an oppressive stillness, a sense of being watched, whether imagined or not. The Flannan Isles offer no answers, only questions shaped by wind and sea. Did a single wave erase 3 lives? Or did something more complex unfold? We may never know, but the light still shines, and the men who kept it did not come home.